In this world, no one can lie, except him, so he becomes God. The tale is dropped smack dab into a world more vanilla than an unsweetened almond milk. Here's the zesty kick. No one has ever told a lie. Everyone drops truth bombs like their pants after the Thanksgiving dinner. And it can sting, especially for a Big Mac with a side of honesty, Mark Bellison. The opening curtain lifts on Mark about to wade into the dating pool, hopefully without sinking. He's got a date with a woman who's way out of his league. Anna, who's so pretty she makes a rainbow look like a toddler's finger painting. Mark comes to pick her up and stumbles over a hello, and Anna looks him up and down like he's a math problem she doesn't want to solve. She sends him to her living room for a timeout, revealing that she was busy flicking the bean. No, seriously, she didn't expect him to come so early. While waiting, Mark has a minor existential crisis about the down payment he has to pay on his house, and whether or not the restaurant he's taking Anna to is the level of fancy that will match her expectations. Let's just say his financials resemble a student's fridge, mostly empty with a faint smell of regret. At the restaurant, Anna dives into the self-sales pitch like a used car dealer. She's an executive, she's loaded, she's hot, she's successful, and in her free time she enjoys eating and crying, just like the rest of us. But no time for details. The waiter is here with their drinks, and so is Anna's mom, on the phone, curious about how her daughter's evening of truth roulette is going. Anna, never one to pull punches, gives her mom the rundown. Mark's got all the charm of a damp napkin. He's broke, a bit on the pudgy side, and has a nose only Picasso would love. She also confirms that her chastity belt will remain firmly locked this evening. After dinner, where the food was as dry as their conversation, they head back to Anna's. Mark stumbles through a thank you and confesses that he's punching above his weight here. Anna confesses that she had fun and will spill her feelings for Mark once she sobers up. She plants a kiss on his cheek, and it's like someone just told Mark he's won a lifetime supply of pizza. He stumbles home, too happy to sleep, and ends up in front of an honest Coca-Cola ad, where the spokesperson spills the tea about the drink leading to diseases like obesity, but still nudges everyone to buy it. Because, well, capitalism. The next day, Mark meets Frank, his neighbor, in the elevator. Their conversations are a lot like two pandas complaining about bamboo shortage. They both fit into the overweight, underachieving category of life's report card. As they part, Mark tosses out the standard, "See you tomorrow," to which Frank, keeping it 100% real, replies that it will only be feasible if he hasn't followed through on his plan to end it all. That's right, self-deletion. And you thought your elevator rides were awkward. On Mark's commute home, he meets a homeless guy, a preacher who's taken the fire and brimstone thing a tad too far, a couple rehearsing for the World Arguing Championships, and a woman who takes him by surprise with a verbal pop quiz. His workday kicks off at Lecture Films, where his co-worker's playing tour guide for some folks who were probably promised free food. Mark gets introduced as the company's most likely to be unemployed of the year, aka the screenwriter who makes the Titanic look like a minor inconvenience. Then it's on to his secretary, Shelley, whose personality is as pleasant as a colonoscopy. Shelley's got some juicy office gossip. Anthony, the boss, is probably going to sack Mark today. And with that cheerful news, Mark steps into his office. He sees Anthony pacing like a lion on a keto diet, and eventually the boss man steps in to deliver the bad news. Anthony has seen enough of Mark's Black Plague, the musical scripts, and fires him. Just when Mark thinks his day can't get worse, he gets an email from Anna, his recent date, who politely informs him that she's decided to upgrade. Enter Brad Kessler, the company's golden boy and Mark's personal bully, who drops by under the pretense of saying hi, but really just came to kick Mark while he's down. Mark then goes to visit his mom at the nursing home, a place so depressing. Even Siri refuses to give directions to it. The next day starts off with an $800 concert from his landlord at his front door, seeing as how his bank account is about as full as a vegan's barbecue. Eviction is imminent. In a last-ditch effort, Mark heads to the bank to close his account, but the system's down. They can't close the account, but the teller can still give him his balance. And thus, Mark becomes the inventor of the world's first lie, when he tells her he's got $800 in his account. When the system pops back up, the teller sees only $300, but thanks to the whole no-lying rule, she chalks it up to a system error and hands him $800. Mark floats out of the bank in a daze, pays his landlord, and goes home to celebrate the birth of dishonesty with a good old victory yell. Later, he meets up with his mate, Greg, at a pub and spills the beans about his newfound superpower. He tries to explain lying to Greg and Jim, the bartender, but they're about as receptive as a cat to a bath. In a bout of mischievous inspiration, Mark asks what they'd do if they could do anything. The answer? Clap cheeks. Relatable. So Mark gives it a shot and tells a stunning lady that they need to clap, or the world's going to end. She's ready to jump into action faster than you can say apocalypse. But Mark, deciding he's more of a white lie kind of guy, calls it a false alarm. Legendary bag fumble. Mark staggers back into the bar with a face like a smacked avocado. He and his tipsy partner in crime Greg hit the road, only to attract the local law enforcement, Officer Buzzkill. Now this cop is one spicy meatball. He says he's relieved they're not black, because if they were, he'd shoot before asking questions. What, don't look at me. The officer literally said this in the movie. But Mark throws down his newest tool, the "no, I'm not drunk" line, and they dodge the metaphorical bullet. With Greg off the hook, Mark slides into the driver's seat and takes him to the casino. Mark and Greg wreak havoc in the casino like kids in a candy store, fibbing their way through games. By the end of their escapade, they're waltzing out with buckets of money, looking like drunk leprechauns who've stumbled across a pot of gold. The next morning, Mark bumps into Frank in the elevator. It turns out Frank's been shopping for ways to self-delete, planning to check out that evening. Mark, seeing an opportunity to do some good with his lying, tells Frank a comforting lie that things will be okay. He even promises to hang out with Frank later, earning him some karma points. On his way to work, Mark's on a generosity spree, tossing money at a homeless guy, playing Oprah with a lady outside lecture films, acting as an amateur counselor for a feuding couple, and even offering comfort to the old-timers at a nursing home. His schedule is so packed he's like a Santa Claus on a mission. When he finally returns to his room, he dials Anna for a sequel to their date. He promises her an upgrade from the first disaster, and Anna, proving she's either really brave or just bored, agrees to give it another shot. After hanging up, he spots a lecture film from Lecture Films, triggering a lightning bolt of inspiration. He whips out a script faster than Hipster can say, "I knew that band before they were cool." He's so stoked that he practically breaks down the doors of the Lecture Films building the next morning. He storms into Anthony's office, completely ignoring his boss's protests. As he starts to pitch his shiny new Black Plague script, Anthony's interest peaks. He dials everyone in, turning the impromptu pitch into an all-staff meeting. So much for a quiet Monday morning, eh? So after Mark nails his script reading, the room bursts with cheers and he's back on the payroll faster than a contestant on The Bachelor can say, "I'm here for the right reasons." Flash forward, Mark and Anna are on date number 2, at a place that's a few notches above 2-for-1 taco night. Anna, intrigued by Mark's new success, starts digging into his life story. Mark spills the beans about his dad, who loved booze more than parenting and ended up trading family for a prison cell. On the flip side, he's got a saint of a mom, who he's planning to spring from the gloomy nursing home for a life of luxury. Of course, Mark's hopeful for a romantic encore with Anna, but she's not totally sold because, well, the man's got genes that could be mistaken for denim. Just as things are getting deep, Mark gets a call and has to dash off to the hospital. When Mark gets there, he's slapped with the news that his mom's health is in the pits, and she might not survive the night. Desperate to comfort his scared and crying mom, Mark spins a comforting lie about an eternal happy hour post-life, aka heaven. Little does he know, the doctor and nurses are eavesdropping and suddenly, Mark's got himself an audience. Leaving the room, Mark is a wreck. Anna, who's been waiting in the wings, follows him home. They spend a quiet evening together, with Anna offering a shoulder for Mark to cry on. The next day, they wake up on the couch, looking like they've just pulled an all-nighter studying for a final they forgot about. Mark steps outside to find a crowd gathered, waiting like he's about to drop the new iPhone. Turns out the hospital gossip mill has been working overtime, and everyone's keen to hear more about this eternal bliss thing. The nurses, who've clearly missed their calling as paparazzi, point him out, and the crowd gets fired up. Back at his apartment, Anna calls about a news article claiming Mark's got the scoop on the afterlife. She's all about this eternal bliss business and convinces him to share it with the world. Cue Greg, who swings by with a pizza like it's just another Saturday night. Little does he know that everyone's waiting for Mark's revelation, like it's the season finale of their favorite reality TV show. By morning, Mark's finished writing his big reveal and uses the pizza boxes as a makeshift desk. Because hey, recycling, right? So here's Mark, standing in front of the crowd like he's about to reveal the next big diet trend. He starts his tale, spinning a yarn about a big guy upstairs with all the power and infinite lives in a video game. Apparently when we kick the bucket, we don't just fade out like a poorly remembered one-hit wonder. Nah, we get to go to this big fancy party in the sky. Everyone gets their MTV Cribs-worthy mansion, and all your lost buddies and that pet goldfish from 2nd grade, they're there. Plus there's free ice cream on tap, in every flavor. The plot twist, if you act like a grade A jerk thrice, you're doomed to some sort of fiery basement, aka hell. After a heated 2-hour debate on what qualifies as jerk behavior, Mark settles on intentional harm to others. Makes sense, right? The crowd, though, is not too happy about this all-powerful dude who seems to play real-life Sims with them. But Mark, ever the diplomat, points out that while the big guy might dish out the rough times, he also makes all the good stuff happen. In the end, he says even if life serves you lemons, the big guy will throw in tequila and salt for killer margarita in the afterlife. A bright kid in the crowd gets it, figuring it's all a big test. Mark, confirming her guess, says he's got the deets straight from the man upstairs. Over the next few days, Mark's revelations go viral. Every publication from The New Yorker to Aliens Among Us daily features his story. Mark's newfound fame sends his career skyrocketing, lands him a mansion, and bags him quality time with Anna. One day, Mark and Anna are chilling on a park bench, doing some casual people watching. Anna, channeling her inner Simon Cowell, starts roasting everyone inside. Mark, playing the voice of reason, gently nudges her to try and see the inner beauty in people. Turning the tables, Anna asks Mark what he thinks of her. Mark, ever the smooth operator, tells her she's beautiful, but he doesn't stop there. He also tells her she's kind, compassionate, and pretty much the whole package. A real stand-up guy, that Mark. So it's Anna's turn to spill the beans. She starts with some jabs at Mark, saying he's as round as a well-fed panda, and his nose might have a future in pancake flattening competitions. But then, she switches gears and starts singing his praises. She calls him smart, kind, funny, and spoiler alert, she's genuinely happy when he's around. The pair are about to dive headfirst into a lovey-dovey moment when Anna pulls the emergency brakes, remembering Mark's less-than-stellar genetic jackpot. Later, while in the car, Anna catches some radio hosts roasting Mark, calling him a tubby guy who's BFFs with some sky dude. Mark, unaware of the roast session, is at home, throwing ideas at his assistant for his next script. As soon as the assistant bails, Anna arrives with a "can't see a movie with you, I'm dating Brad Kessler" card. Despite Mark's protests about sleeping around, Brad the stud rolls up to take Anna on their date. At the restaurant, Brad's narcissism level hits Kardashian level, ordering for Anna and all. Even when Anna's mom rings, Brad grabs the phone and dishes out some grade A insults, sending Anna into a fury. To add salt to the wound, Brad spends the rest of the dinner talking about how they're the perfect genetic match, sprinkling in jabs at Mark just for kicks. The next morning, Mark strolls his usual path to work. Now, though, people are less about their jobs and more about scoring a heavenly mansion when they kick the bucket. Anna catches Mark's TV interview while she's at her mom's. Suddenly, Anna gets a light bulb moment. She realizes she's in love with Mark, wants to be with him, but her mom pulls the emergency brake and dials up Brad. Mark, on the other hand, is pouring his heart out at his mom's grave. Rip in peace. Seasons come and go, and there's a radio silence between Mark and Anna. Until one day, Anna shows up at Mark's doorstep, wedding invitation in hand. Mark pleads with Anna to ditch Brad, but she holds her ground, adamant about finding her genetically perfect babe. Later in the park, Anna spots some kids bowling a chubby lad. Jumping to his defense, she sues the upset boy. The next day, Mark, looking as if he's woken up in a Hollywood motivational movie, takes a long, hard look at himself in the bathroom mirror. When Mark heads back into the room, Greg's already in full wedding mode, dressed to impress. He hands Mark a razor, probably because his beard's got a bit of a mountain man vibe going on. They rock up at the chapel to attend Hannah's wedding, and in comes Anna, looking like a snack and walking down the aisle as Brad awaits her at the altar. As the ceremony kicks off, the wedding director plays the "Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Peace" card, asking if anyone thinks they'd hit the genetic jackpot with Anna better than Brad. The room's dead silent until Mark, brave as a bear facing a camper with a sandwich, steps up. Despite the side-eye from everyone and Brad sneers, Mark stands tall, confessing his love for Anna and dunking on the whole marry for genetics scheme. But instead of letting Anna make her own decision, everyone starts grilling him about what the big guy upstairs wants for Anna. Defeated and fed up with spinning more lies, Mark bails from the chapel. Anna chases after him, bombarding him with the million-dollar question. What does the man in the sky want? Mark, tired of the charade, drops the bombshell. There is no man in the sky. He just made up the whole thing to comfort his mom as she was knocking on heaven's door. But it spiraled out of control faster than a reality TV show. Anna's taken aback by Mark's knack for spinning lies. But who cares? She's dead set on marrying him. They exchange toothy grins, free at last from their inhibitions. Fast forward a few years, and a pregnant Anna's serving up dinner to her hubby and their little chap. Doesn't matter if the food tastes like cardboard, or looks like alien goop. They praise her culinary skills like she's the next master chef. Mark and Mini Mark share a high five, a sign that the little dude might have inherited his dad's storytelling talent. And they all chow down, living happily ever after in their perfect mess of a life. Moral of the story? Atheism?